Hey friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome back, and if you're new, you're also welcome. Do make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. So today we're going to be drafting a basic gown, yes, and we're going to be needing our sandpaper, paper tape, a biro, tape rule, your ruler, and also your marker. So I'm going to be using a marker so it can be bolder. Do you get? If not, I'll just use a biro or a pencil. But anyways, so first of all, I'm going to mark out 1 inch at the side and at the top of my pattern paper. Now I'm taking out this 1 inch because I'm going to be using a marker like I said, and I don't want that marker to stain the wall. So I'm going to be taking my measurement from this new line I just created and also from the line at the top. So that's why I'm going to be taking measurement I want to take for. So make sure you rule out this line like correctly. Make sure it's straight so you don't have a slanted measurement or anything. So today I'm going to be using a bust 32, a hip 34, shoulder 14, front length 16, back length 14, waist 24, and gown length 34. So these are measurements for today. And to get our box, I'm going to divide my hip, that's the hip measurement. Although I later changed this hip measurement to 40, so take note of that. So that hip measurement, rule it out and make it 40. Do you get? So that's for this particular draft. So I did hip divided by 2, and that gave me 20. That's 40 divided by 2, 20. So I'm just marking out 20 now because that's the biggest part of my body. So you use the biggest part of your body. If it's your bust, you use your bust. If it's your stomach, you use your stomach. So your biggest circumference, do you get? Your biggest circumference is what you're going to use to do this. All right, so for the length of my gown, it's already in the measurement. Gown length of 34, so that's what I ruled out. So I already marked out gown length 34, and I'm just going to make a straight line across those places I noted down. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. And like I said, I changed the hip measurement, so please take note of that. The new hip measurement is 40. All right, okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to divide this box by 2, because I'm going to be drafting my front pattern and my back pattern on this same space. So I'm going to divide it by 2. So 20 divided by 2, that's 10. So I'm going to mark out 10 again from top to bottom like you see me doing. And then after doing that, I'll just rule it down, because this first part is going to serve as my front pattern, and then the back, that's the second one, is going to serve as my back pattern. So next we're going to take our chest line. So my chest line is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, which is 32 divided by 6 plus 1.5, and that's going to give me 7.5. So I'm just going to mark out 7.5, and then I'm going to make a straight line. After that, I'm going to take my waist, that's my shoulder to waist measurement. So for the front, that's the front length, it is 16, and for the back length it is 14. That's because there's bust at the front of somebody's body, female's body, so that takes an extra measurement. So if you measure your body, you're going to see that if you measure your back and you measure your front, there's always difference. So for me, there's 2 inches difference. Now just keep that 2-inch difference somewhere and just mark out 16 and 14 for your front and your back length. Make sure you take your measurements properly. All right, next we're going to be taking our hip measurements, that's hip line, which is your hip divided by 4 minus 1.5. That's 40 divided by 4 minus 1.5, which will give us 8.5. So that's what I marked out from the waistline. So now I'm just going to take out that 2 inches that I told you we should keep first. I'm going to mark that 2 inches at the bottom, and I'm going to trash it out, so I know that I'm not cutting that part when I want to cut my paper. Do you understand? So now after doing that, we're going to go to our neck, and we're going to just draft a basic neck, which is 3 by 3. You can choose to alter it if you want, but I'm just going to be doing the normal one. Now for the back, it's going to be 1 by 3, so it's still going to be width of 3 but depth of 1 at the back. So now I'm going to take my curve ruler and make sure that your neck does not have a contour. Okay, make sure you are curving it very well. Are we good? So next, our shoulder measurement is 14, which divided by 2 is 7. So I'm going to mark out 7 both at my starting line and also on my chest line. So I'm also going to do the same thing from the back, but you can see where I'm putting my tape rule for the back from the neck side also, the way I did for the front from the neck side. So I'm going to measure 7 also, and then I'm going to rule a straight line like you see me doing. So that part in the middle is not needed actually, but just keep going like this. So for the front, I'm going to come down on that shoulder line by 1.5, and for the back I'm going to come down by 1.5 for the front, 1 for the back, and I'm going to connect the line to my neckline like you can see me doing. So make sure it's a straight line. My one's a little bit slanted, so I have to straighten it. So it's going to be like looking like this. All right, so now we'll go to the back, and then we're going to divide what we have left into 2. That's from your new shoulder line to your chest line. You're going to divide it by 2, and whatsoever you have, you mark it both for the front and for the back. Then after marking it, at that point where you mark it, you go in by 0.75 for the front. Can you see? Then you go in by 0.5 for the back and connect it to the shoulder. This is because your shoulder is going to have, a slant. Your armhole is going to be a little bit slanted. So that's just what we're doing. So now for the bust, we're going to divide our bust divided by 4, which is 8. But for the front, I'm going to be adding 0.5 allowance, which is going to make it 8.5 for the front, and then for the back, it's just going to be 8. Are we good? So now I'm connecting the armhole, and you can see that it's giving us this slanted shape. So imagine I did not go in by 0.5 or 0.75. It will be looking too straight, and we don't want that. All right, so from my chest line, I'm going to be going down by 1.5 inch for the front and 1 inch for the back. This is because I'm going to use this line as my dart line. All right, so this is where I'm going to put my dart on. This is where my dart is going to be resting on. So remember that measurement we took at our armhole. You're going to mark it out also on that dart line. So that's what we're going to be using for our dart line. Do you get? So mine was 3.5, so I'm just going to mark it out 3.5. All right, so after doing, make sure you are marking it down to your waistline or your hip line. You actually need it on your hip line too. So what I'm doing now is I'm just labeling my draft. That's because labeling is also important, so you will not make mistake. You will not go and cut your front piece into 2, whereas it's supposed to be on fold. That's if you're a beginner and you're just getting used to pattern drafting. All right, so from our hip line, we're going to be going up by 2 inch, and that 2 inches because our dart is not going to get to our hip line. So we're going to be going up by 2 inch both at the front hip line and at the back hip line. So after doing that, just roll out your line. Make it straight, because your dart cannot get to your hip line. Do you get it? So the same measurement you took at your nipple to nipple points, the one we took just now, your dart measurements, also take it at your new, well, I call it your new hip line, but the line you just took above your hip line. Yes, so that's why you're going to be putting that measurement, and then you connect the points together, make a straight line there. So that's going to serve as your dart. Do you get it? So after doing this, you're going to go to the side, like you're going to place your tape rule on this line and measure 0.5 on the left, 0.5 on the right. Do you get it? 0.5 on the left, 0.5 on the right, and it's going to be on your waistline. Make sure it is on your waistline. All right, so you connect from your apex, that's from the first point of your dart to your waistline, then you connect from your hip line to your waistline, like you can see me doing. So you're going to have the shape when you are done, and if it's correct, you're going to have the shape. All right, so now after this, I'm going to take my waist measurement, and my waist measurement is 24 divided by 4, which is 6. But because my dart is 1 inch, if we took 0.5, which is 1 inch, so I'm going to add that 1 inch back, which is going to make it 7. So I'm going to mark out 7 on my waistline. Now what I'm doing is I'm measuring 1 inch above my hip line and 1 inch below my hip line. This is, you don't need to do this, but it's also important if you want your drafting to be seamless. So this is going to make your hip not give a sharp edge, so it's going to make it contour, like it's just going to give it a fine line. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So for your hip measurements, as at this point I forgot I changed the measurements, do you get? So I was still working with my 34, but I later rearranged everything and all that. So what I'm doing next is called nail tightening. So I'm taking 1.5 inch from my front and I'm taking 0.75, that's 1.5 divided by 2 for the back. Do you get that? So I just marked it out, and now I'm going to connect all the lines that I marked out initially. So this is from my bust to waist, and I'm going to use my curve ruler to curve my hip. This is my hip. So I'm going to make the line from that 1 inch we took above. Now it's not going to be the exact hip line. It's going to be that 1 inch we took from above the hip line and then to the waistline. Do you get it? And so I'm going to be doing the same thing for the back. Also from that 1 inch we took above the hip line for the back, and I'm going to connect it. So now you see that the line is like a little bit above the hip line. Yeah, that's what you want actually. So now from my nail tightening, which was 1.5, I'm going to connect it. You see, I was trying to decide on which ruler to use. I later went with the straight ruler because I wasn't really liking although the difference wasn't much, but I wasn't really liking the curve ruler shape. So you can choose which one you want. It's not so much, the difference is not so much. So then I also did the back, joined the lines, and my draft was looking at like this. Do you get? So now from my dart leg, that line I took, I'm going to go down by 2 inches. Now that 2 inches, the one we threw away that time, that one I will trashed out today. You're just going to measure 2 inches on that slanted line. You see where I placed my tape rule. Then I'm going to connect it to my dart apex. Do you get? So after connecting it, I'll measure the 2 lines that I have there. That's this straight one and then this slanted one. One is going to be longer than one. So the longest one, measure it on the shorter one, and then if the longest one is 0.5, if it's 0.5 longer or 0.25 longer, add that 0.5 or 0.25 to the shorter one and then connect it like you saw mine. Do you get? Or like you are seeing mine. So now this part is my zipper. So my waist, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. From my waist, I'll go in by 1 inch and connect to my neck. So it's going to give you this slanted line, and then I'm going to also connect it to my hip line, but I'm going to be using my curve ruler for this one. Do you get? So I'm going to connect it down to my hip line. So it's going to be looking like this. That's because now there's not going to be zipper bulge. Do you get? Thank you so much guys for watching. I love you all. Please subscribe, like, share the video, or see you next